Hello and welcome to our podcast. My name is Sophia.
And my name is Daniil. I think you see me the first time in this podcast. I'm doing the quality assurance at BotTalk, and I think we will talk about quality management and overall a little bit about this topic in this podcast.
BotTalk Podcast.
Okay, perfect. Maybe Daniil, you're gonna start to tell us a bit about what your position is, or because Daniil was the first team member who joined BotTalk, so he's, I think 2020 you joined BotTalk, so it was like a long period that you have been part of it, and you also like make all the changes from the first product, when it was like a platform for voice applications, and then you made the pivot with us, and now to our final product. Maybe you're taking the audience a bit on your journey.
Yes, of course, I can tell you about this. So maybe a little bit to my background. It's a quite unusual background because I studied editing and video operating. So I'm also the guy behind the cameras all the time. And yes, I had this kind of little side job. It's, I think, almost 2 years ago now, because this is like my third year at BotTalk. And from there on, I was actually doing other tasks. I wasn't really in quality assurance. I was doing content management and a little bit CEO for BotTalk. And overall, I have also this impression that when you work in a startup, you do like a lot of things. It's not really one thing or one position. And after 1 year of this work, I realized that something's off. It's not really something that interests me, and I was almost ready to leave BotTalk. But then I talked to Andre, our CEO, and he said, so I said, do you have like maybe some new tasks for me and some new challenges, because I think it's all we need is something new to work on. And Andre said, hey, yes, we have this one topic. It's like quality assurance, because the thing with BotTalk is that BotTalk is so huge of a platform. You don't realize it when you work at BotTalk, for example, but it's like a web player, a playlist player, and all those things, they work together, also with a paywall and like all those structures within BotTalk. You can like create an organization, have members, invite them, and those members can have different roles. And if your application has so many different little features, and I mean the guys were putting out new features every month, this becomes quite a mess. And the problem we had at this time was that very often customers came to us and told us, yeah, there's something not working, and this happened a little bit too often. So we needed a system or some kind of workaround that we can catch all those errors and bugs before our clients get them, because this, of course, not so good. So there's this thing, quality assurance, which I started doing. So basically, I built the test automation suite from scratch. For those who don't know, it's like a testing framework which can function all on its own. And this is also what I've been learning at BotTalk to do, because I never done testing. But now we have already a very stable framework, which, so maybe for those who are not very familiar with automated testing, I can explain to you. It's basically, for example, if I want to test my application, I just go on the website, I click around, create something, and look that everything was working fine. But when you try this on your own, you will realize that to kind of skip through all those functions and to test them by hand, it takes a lot of time. To make this faster, there's this automated tests which will do all the thing for you, but you have to write and plan those tests. So basically we have a testing framework that goes every hour, and every hour the whole platform gets checked through. So this is what we have been building, and what has been a major role in the last time for me.
Was it like super complicated for you to skipping then in the new like role or position you have, because you studied a complete different field, and you said that you have already has to learn everything in the framework to build it. Was it like first like super complicated to get like good idea how you do it, or how was it for you?
Yes, it was actually very scary, because you see like all those code lines, and so basically JavaScript and Java tests, like those automated tests, that's not something very hard. It's what most of the developers or people who go in this direction of QA, in this development direction, it's very often what they start with, because it's not so hard. But the hardest thing was really to set up this whole framework which will work on its own. So you, because I think usually when you want to start QA, you just go to a company and they tell you, yeah, write those 2-3 automated tests, and it's a quite manageable task. But we had like no base at all, and this was, I think, the most challenging part of this work. But I mean, there's so much information in the internet around. So after some time, this task wasn't that scary anymore.
I could also imagine that it's like a cool thing to build something on the scratch, and like just to put all your ideas inside, and not just having like a ready tool and then you just like making the steps which are like written down you have to do. So I think this would be also like a nice opportunity for you. You told me before that in Germany it's not like usual to have like this automated tests, so it's like more the people are doing it manually. So like where's the advantages in this automated tests, so, and why do you think like, and it's not that common in Germany?
Yes, I told you before, I really don't have the numbers of how many people do this in Germany, but overall it's not that common. For example, maybe because Germany doesn't have like so much experience in IT like America or the US have. But I also think that there are there are a lot of misconceptions about QA. For example, that the QA guy is the one who's like picking on the developers and telling them, yes, this is bad, but actually QA is like a helping hand of a developer, and it's not. They have like to work together to make an application more stable and more secure. And this is what I want to tell you about why QA is so important. Like when you are in this role, your like primary goal is to catch all errors before someone who uses your application can find them. Yes, and basically the greatest advantage of automated tests is that, as I already told you, they can be done every hour or every half an hour or every 5 minutes. So even when you are sleeping or you are having like a vacation, you will still get a message, hey, here's something not working. And this is, of course, a very, very great thing, especially if your application has so many functions and there's constantly the chance of something going wrong, and it's not like the fault is the developer's fault. It's just it just happens. It's normal, and it can also be a server problem, or some connection could be down or anything. But of course, you can't test automatically everything. We are BotTalk, and we like create this voice, this text-to-speech voice, and this is, for example, something that a bot, I don't think, will in the near future will be able to test, because only we can hear and hear this sound, how is everything working, if the sound is good. And for this, there will always be the need for manual tests, and we also have people working in this area. And also this is also my task, to work with them and to work out which tests can we automate, and what we need like manual testers for.
Okay, yeah. So on the coding part, we're like using a lot of automating tests to see if the code is working well, and if everything is like fitting, or maybe sometimes, as you said, like it broke something with no reason sometimes, because just of the infrastructure we have. And on the voice level, we are more on the manual testing, so seeing like if the quality of the voice is high enough. Do we need to make some like replacements with our dictionaries? And so this is like the two parts in the QA team, right?
Yes, I would say that we have like very distinguishable two parts. We have like this QA, the real QA. It's the QA of the application, if every button works, if like you can invite someone, or you can even log into the application. This is also where the automated tests are very strong. And we also have this other part. It's a big part, because it's the voice, it's the language, and there we have like students who listen to articles, who listen to the converted text that we made, and they solely concentrate on those like text-to-speech errors, because this is also a very complicated thing where there are many problems. For example, we had at the beginning, or at the start of BotTalk, there were like a lot of problems, and it was sounding way worse because we had actually no experience in audifying like articles from news publishers. So, for example, numbers or breaks, or if you have like this in the web, you have your article, there can also be ads, advertisements, or like a little image with a description. And this is of course bad if something of this also gets converted into text, because for a listener you can't really see the image, and if you suddenly get this description or like the description of an advertisement, this were the challenges that we had to deal with in this voice part. So yeah, basically we have those two big departments of quality assurance.
Okay, perfect. I think we get like a good insights on our QA team and what you're actually doing there, because like it plays like a really important and central role in our company. Sometimes I think like most of the people think, okay, we have just like the business part we have to do and just like some coding parts, that our technology is working, but I think no one actually recognized that we have also like this big important quality assurance, which is like playing like a really important role, that we are like delivering a good products and high quality voices. Maybe for ending it up, so you've been part of the whole like roller coaster through BotTalk. So what was your main learning while the whole time you've been here? What is like the biggest change for you and just your personal view of it?
Yes, this is an interesting question because I enjoy working at a startup. It's just so versatile because, for example, I'm doing now QA, but I was also helping our developer to like in the UX part how to arrange some of the buttons or features because it's kind of a bit of everything. And my main learning, I think, was really to take responsibility because in a startup, no one will like run after you and check what you have done or ask all the time. Yeah, are you ready with this? Can you do this? You have to kind of take the responsibility and just do things by yourself.
Okay, cool. So yes, I totally agree it because like everyone I think needs to have an eye on what is going on in the company and just see how we can bring it together further because no one is like able to see everything because I'm just on the business part. I didn't actually know what you're like completely doing in your QA team or what is Ego doing in the IT. So this is like I need your support to bring it all together, and then it's like pretty good that everyone is like ambitious and see what is going on, bringing in new ideas, and when we all do it, I think we can go like faster forward and grow together. So this is like pretty good, and that you also pointed it out with the responsibility because like we are kind of a younger team, and then it's like a new new stuff for us, but I think this is also a good thing in a startup, what we can learn and growing together with the company.
Yeah, maybe relating to that, I also have one more story that I can tell, because prior to BotTalk, I also had a little bit of a startup experience, and this is also what working at BotTalk reminds me of. So I was at a hackathon. This is like a little event where you have 3 days and you develop with a little team some kind of new app and then you pitch it. And this was also like an amazing experience to have like a group of 5 and you were like working and I myself, I had no like real education at that point and I was really insecure about bringing in my own ideas, but then when we just started working on this, I realized that there are also things that I can bring into this, and this is what reminds me of working at BotTalk because it's kind of the same thing. You see like a bunch of people. For example, when I was starting out, a bunch of people at this little startup, they kind of struggle around something or some new feature, and they kind of search for like a solution. And then when you have also an idea, it's really cool that you can bring it in and you can see the change. This has also amazed me because it's just so cool that you can see your own ideas grow into this. And I also think that when you work in a startup, you really have to believe into this idea or the thing that the startup is creating. Because when I first joined BotTalk, it was like a really strange experience because like there's this crazy idea. Yes, we're gonna audify all those texts that are in the world. This is like our main vision, and it was really strange to me because you have kind of to decide: do you believe in this or or not, because then I think you can leave. And I think it's also something you see right away if a person like really believes into this idea, because then they bring in a lot of new ideas, and yes, this is, I think, the most enjoyable part of working here.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniil. I think we got like lots of insight from the QA team, what you're actually doing, and also on your journey from BotTalk, because you're like one of the oldest employees here and creating a lot of the company. And yeah, thanks a lot. I hope you also enjoyed it, and now you also know our like perfectly cameraman behind it. And yes.